The story you're about to hear is a compilation of documented true facts about historical characters, events, or locations. Please sit back and listen as I narrate this story to you. Bangladesh Bank, the Central Bank of Bangladesh, maintains an account with the Federal Reserve Bank of New York to deposit, maintain, and transfer the country's foreign currency reserves. Bangladesh's foreign currency reserve, which is growing, frequently exceeds multiple billions of US dollars. On February 4 to 5, 2016, unknown hackers used Bangladesh's central bank employees' SWIFT credentials to send more than 36 fraudulent money transfer requests to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, requesting that the bank transfer millions of Bangladesh bank funds to bank accounts in the Philippines, Sri Lanka, and other parts of Asia. SWIFT is an acronym that stands for the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. It is a digital messaging platform that handles a large portion of the world's interbank financial transfers. The SWIFT platform has approximately 11,000 users and processes approximately 25 million communications per day, the majority of which are money transfer transactions. SWIFT-enabled financial institutions and brokerage firms have unique codes as well as credentials that authenticate and verify transactions. Security hackers use the SWIFT network to send 35 fraudulent instructions to transfer nearly $1 billion US dollars from a Federal Reserve Bank of New York account to Bangladesh Bank. 5 of the 35 fraudulent instructions were successful in transferring $101 million, with $20 million traced to Sri Lanka and $81 million sent to Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation via 4 separate transfer requests. According to Reuters, the accounts that were still open had all been opened a year earlier in May 2015, but had been inactive with only $500 sitting in them until the stolen funds arrived in February 2016. Other transactions totaling $850 million were halted by the Bangladesh Bank. Bangladesh Bank discovered the heist thanks to a printer error. The bank's SWIFT system is set up to automatically print a record every time a money transfer request is processed. The printer is operational 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So when employees arrive in the morning, they check the tray for transfers that were confirmed overnight. However, on the morning of Friday, February 5, the bank's director discovered that the printer tray was empty. When bank employees attempted to manually print the reports, they were unable to do so. The software on the terminal that connects to the SWIFT network reported that a critical system file was missing or had been changed. When they finally got the software to work and were able to restart the printer the next day, it spit out dozens of suspicious transactions. The Fed Bank in New York apparently questioned dozens of transfer orders to Bangladesh Bank, but no one in Bangladesh responded. Panic ensued as Bangladeshi workers scrambled to determine whether any of the money transfers had gone through. Their own record system showed that nothing had been debited to their account yet, and to halt any orders that were still pending. They contacted SWIFT and the New York Fed, but the attackers had planned their heist well. No one in New York responded because it was the weekend. It wasn't until Monday that bank employees in Bangladesh learned that 4 of the transactions totaling $101 million had gone through. Bangladesh Bank was successful in convincing Pan Asia Banking to cancel the $20 million it had already received and redirected the funds to Bangladesh Bank's New York Fed account. However, the $81 million transferred to Rizal Bank in the Philippines was lost. It had already been credited to multiple accounts, reportedly belongings to casinos in the Philippines, and all but $68,000 of it had been withdrawn between February 5 and 9 before further withdrawals were halted. The manager of the Rizal Bank branch has been questioned about why she allowed the money to be withdrawn on the 9th, despite receiving a request from Bangladesh Bank to stop the money that day. The hackers could have stolen far more if it hadn't been for a typo in one of the money transfers requests that drew the attention of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. According to the hackers, at least one of the transfers should go to Shalika Foundation, but they misspelled foundation as Fandatation. SWIFT notified members that earlier that week, a second bank in Asia had been targeted in a similar attack and that a small number of recent cases of fraud had occurred at customer firms. The alert did not name the second Asian bank, but Thien Phong Bank at Vietnam told Reuters over the weekend that in the fourth quarter of last year, it encountered and stopped a similar SWIFT hack worth approximately $1.1 million before any funds were taken. A SWIFT spokesman told the Wall Street Journal that a few other incidents had occurred, but didn't say whether they were successful heists at other banks or simply other attempts. SWIFT claims that they obtained valid credentials used by banks to conduct SWIFT money transfers and then used those credentials to initiate money transactions as if they were legitimate bank employees. It's unclear how they obtained the credentials. According to news reports, insiders may have aided the hackers by providing their credentials. According to other reports, Bangladesh Bank's lax computer security practices were to blame. The bank reportedly did not have firewalls installed on its network, raising the possibility that hackers breached the network and discovered the credentials stored on the system. They installed malware on the bank's network to prevent employees from quickly detecting fraudulent transactions. In the case of Bangladesh Bank, the malware compromised the software used to print SWIFT transactions automatically. It was installed on the bank's system sometime in January, not long before the bogus money transfers began on February 4. In the case of the Vietnamese bank, the custom malware targeted a PDF reader used by the bank to record SWIFT money transfers. According to SWIFT and the New York Times, the malware apparently manipulated the PDF reports to remove any trace of the fraudulent transactions. Even if the hackers did not compromise the SWIFT network, leaving all SWIFT banks vulnerable, it is still bad news for global banking system. By targeting the methods used by member banks to conduct transactions over the SWIFT network, the hackers undermined a system that had previously been regarded as steadfast. The incidents also raised concerns about the reliability of SWIFT reporting. The US government relies on SWIFT transaction records to detect suspicious money transfers that may be linked to terrorism financing. Bangladesh Bank blames the Federal Reserve Bank of New York for allowing the money transfers to go through without first obtaining confirmation from Bangladesh. The New York Fed claims it contacted the bank to question and verify dozens of suspicious transfers but received no response. The Reserve Bank's officials stated that the employees followed proper procedures in approving the 5 money transfers that went through and blocking 30 others. According to Bangladesh Bank, the Fed Bank should have blocked all money transfers until it received a response on those it deemed suspicious. Malware discovered on Bangladesh Bank's system resembles some of the malware discovered in the Sony hack, which the US government blamed on North Korea. However, forensic evidence and the movements of this group in the Bangladesh Bank's network indicate that the group behind that malware is not responsible for stealing Bangladesh Bank's money. Instead, it appears that this operation was carried out by a third group, a group that may or may not be related to the Sony hackers. Government investigators in the Philippines are currently investigating the incident in order to determine who stole the $81 million from Bangladesh Bank. At least $21 million of the stolen funds reportedly ended up in the Philippine bank account of Eastern Hawaii, a company run by Chinese businessman Kim Wong, who says he received it as a payment for helping a Chinese client settle a casino debt. Casinos in that country are not subject to anti-money laundering laws, so there are gaps in record-keeping regarding where money goes once it is obtained by a casino. Following the reserve theft, the Finance Ministry formed a 3-member inquiry committee led by former Central Bank Governor Dr. Farashuddin on March 15, 2016. On April 15 that same year, the committee submitted an interim report to then Finance Minister Abul Ma'al Abdul Muhith, followed by a full report on May 30 within the 75 deadline. When the full report was received, the then Finance Minister promised that it would be released within 15 to 20 days. However, no report on the investigation has been published in the last 5 years. The mystery of reserve theft remains unsolved. According to the central bank's recent report on its measures to recover the remaining $66.54 million, a resolution and assistance agreement was signed on January 29, 2019 between the Bangladesh Bank and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. On January 31, 2019, the Bangladesh Bank filed a lawsuit in the District Court for the Southern District of New York against 7 individuals, 20 institutions, and 25 anonymous individuals and institutions. On March 20, 2020, the court dismissed the case and suggested that it be refiled in a different court. On May 27, 2020, the central bank filed a new case against the RCBC and its associates in the New York County Supreme Court. And since then, little progress has been made. When contacted, Abu Hena Muhammad Razi Hassan, former Deputy Governor of the Bangladesh Central Bank and head of the Bangladesh Financial Intelligence Unit, told the Business Standard that a notice had been sent to the accused from a New York court. He anticipates that the case will be heard soon. He cannot, however, say when it will begin. According to Abu Hena, because the reserve is public money, the government has directed that the case be pursued in order to recover the stolen funds. Meanwhile, on March 6, 2019, the RCBC filed a defamation suit against the Bangladesh Bank in a Philippine court, following the Bangladesh Bank's filing a lawsuit in a New York court in January of that year, believing that the Bangladesh Bank's claims were unfounded. Furthermore, the Criminal Investigation Department, or the CID, has yet to complete its investigation to the case filed by the Bangladesh Bank with the Motige Hill Police Station in the aftermath of the reserve theft. The CID stated that their investigation is nearing completion and that a charge sheet will be filed soon. Only $14.61 million of the $81 million stolen money had been recovered as of February 2021. Hey everyone! I just wanted to express how grateful I am that you took time out of your day to listen to my narration. This is Nikki of Twysted Mind, and I'd like to wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Salamat!